Good evening. I'm Rayhaan by Amran, a UiTM student at the Academy of Language Studies, or currently LG240. So we are conducting an interview to have a feedback on the ongoing social issues, namely cancel culture. So first of all, I'm going to disclose to you that your name and some certain information will be anonymous, should you wish so. So without further ado, let's start. So may I have your name, sir?
Right. First of all, thank you, Mr. Rayhaan. My name is Clarence Lawrence, and I'm currently studying yeah,
Your age is currently
22.
twenty-two.
Yeah, if not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully I'm not mistaken. Okay. Your current education level, since you are studying for a degree, you are a diploma student.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your current marital status? Are you in a relationship? Are you married or something
Obviously,
more
it's
complicated?
single.
Oh, single.
Obviously, yes.
Oh my God, the girls must be blind, I guess. Okay. Do you have any current occupations such as
No,
side
no,
income?
I'm
No, you're
full time
focusing
study.
on student. Okay, full-time student.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to the meat of the interview. I will ask you, I will give you a statement which is immoral celebrities and public figures should be cancelled. Cancel here refers to stopping giving support or promoting the person. Do you agree with the statement above?
To be honest, with the current issues that we have now regarding with cancel culture, I believe that such methods should not be allowed because first things first, when it comes to celebrity, when you say that we should promote cancel culture, let's say we take an example, one of the artists that one of the actors that being cancelled, and then everyone start boycott, not watching the movie itself. So, for example, like Chris Pratt itself, before this, everyone was saying that he is a Trump supporter, and because of that, people does not want to support the Guardian of the Galaxy because obviously it's Chris Pratt. But because of that kind of attitude, kind of culture that start to manifest into a majority of the people nowadays, this will cause more into reduce of the quality of the industry itself. So it's not very good for my understanding itself, the cancer culture.
See. Okay, so you do not agree with the cancel culture because it brings some personal beliefs into the table when relating to the celebrities itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does cancel culture impact the influences or influencer freedom of speech and expression, in your opinion?
Thank you, Mr. Rayhan. Regarding with the freedom of speech, before we have the concept of canceling others, most people are using these rights to speak out of their minds. So basically, freedom of speech is where you are able to be given immunity to speak without any kind of obstruction. So when cancel culture was brought up into this issue, for example, what you say is now, influencer, if they are not allowed to have this kind of freedom of speech, every time they give something that is right, even though it's right or wrong, they're always being in a midst of being cancelled. So sometimes I do believe that because cancel culture is obviously cancel culture is not a kind of law or legislation or something, but it is kind of attitude that leads to these people are not able to speak out of their mind. So what if let's say people say Black Lives Matter, right? Black
Yeah.
Lives Matter should be upheld, and some of others believe that everyone lives is matter as well. But people say that is that racism? Should we cancel this guy because he's not supporting the blacks? This is kind of issue is what should be avoided at all costs. But as of now, people are trying to reduce it, but instead it's getting worse and worse because that's the social media kind of function right now. It's getting worse. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about it.
I see. Apologies. One moment. Yes, I
Yeah.
have to. Yeah. Okay, we're back. Sorry for the short delay. There was some troubling issues outside. Okay, that is quite an interesting insight on how it affects the freedom of speech. Uh, okay, is cancel culture an effective means of holding individuals accountable for their actions or opinion? What do you think about this type of mentality, Mr. Clarence?
Can you repeat the question just now? Because yeah, so can
Uh,
you repeat it slowly?
it's like, is it effective in
Mhm.
holding individuals accountable for their actions or opinions?
Is it okay? So from that question itself, I don't think that the individual should be held accountability, because even though you manage to get one individual to held accountable for the action of canceling others, that kind of manifestation of the culture itself still grown. You cannot blame one person saying that he is the starter everything, because of that one person. It's not even one person. Because of that one issue, everyone have that kind of understanding. Yeah, this is bad, this is negative, this is not what we should be focusing on. We should actually silence this guy. Cancel culture in this kind of context that you keep mentioning just now is more into keep that guy shut up or keep that guy silence.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's not what kind of behavior that should be. Let's say that the social media is the one that should be held accountable for that action. They must reduce it. They must overview and try to understand why people are trying to shut this guy up. So
Mm.
they should have the initiative itself. Not only gonna be finding that one person. It's gonna be
So
manifest all the time.
in like to give one example of social media taking responsibility is like filtering this fake news, right? Because
Yeah,
yeah, because rather than attacking the person itself, they have to actively search for the truth.
that's true. That's one of it. And then remember what from the news itself, like what Elon Musk tried to do. He tried to reduce it, tried to reduce how toxic Twitter was, but instead he is using it as a personal kind of platform to ensure that every data that he had, he saved it. So I still don't understand why he tried to avoid the cancel culture, but he still have that within the Twitter itself. It's not gonna change because of changing ownership. It will change the kind of behavior. It must stop at a certain point itself. So everyone must work together. For example, like they should make a legislation, which a legislation that can be enforced to stop this kind of behavior. I mean, we have for like spreading for fake news. People are being they will be penalized for it. How about for cancel culture? Maybe we can do something about it, but it is up for the government to come up with such kind of legislation first through a survey or something.
So it's not only the social media's responsibility, but
It's gonna be
the
all.
everybody's
Yeah.
responsibility. Okay. Moving on to the next question.
All right.
What do you think are some of the potential negative consequences? Like we have discussed all of these ramifications. That, for example, you said that Chris Pratt was being shunned by the public, right, because of his
Yeah.
support for Trump. Do you think that you can list down other possible negative consequences of cancel culture?
All right. Let's take an example. Very easy example. How about if you run for to become prime minister or a president, and then you start speaking the truth. For example, there are a lot of immigrants coming to Malaysia, and then we must avoid this. We must uh, push them aside. Do not let them enter our country. Obviously, people will start speaking about, oh, human rights is what Malaysian is not practicing is human rights, because this kind of if we choose this guy as a leader, obviously we will have no human rights anymore in Malaysia. So it will lead to cancel culture. Obviously, you're gonna lose because
Yeah.
of this understanding of, oh, this guy is not protecting others, right? How about the citizens in Malaysia rights? So that kind of situation will cancel culture is more as a weapon usage in politics right now. For example, like spreading lies. What will happen in Malaysia? People spreading lies just to gain their posts in certain
Yeah.
countries to win election. And then apart from that, there's the second negative trait that come from cancel culture from for me is it leads to people not able to voice the truth out of from their mouth. So it
Yeah, we
will
want just
create this.
just
Hello.
say safe statements like I love this, I love that, because if you are disagreeing with something, people might cancel you.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of it. So basically, the truth is not on anymore. The world will run based on lies only. So that's not going to be good. You will start teaching the younger generation to, oh, you must do this, you cannot do this, or else you are like erased from the existence. So what's
If
the
it's
point
if
of
it's
having that kind of a freedom of speech now? So
yeah.
yeah,
So the you mentioned like it is used as a tool for propaganda in
yeah,
political environment, and of course, we are now being it's like you're being circumcised, right? We no longer have the bravery to say the correct things because it's not politically correct because it might
yeah.
get cancelled. I see. So you mentioned that it is used in political environment, and we know that it is currently used online. Do you think
Yeah.
that social media or online leading is the only leading force of the cancel culture, or is there any other medium that
Um,
yeah.
when we're talking about cancel culture, when we're talking about the current age, obviously it's going to be online. But how about those who are not having access of online? We still have kind of people who just spread words directly to the people. For
Mhm.
example, like gossips. Gossips can be the starter for
A
this
form
cancel
of
culture.
cancel culture also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of medium is what we actually kind of afraid of, as well as writings, as well as maybe, for example, like maybe you put in a bulletin, especially
Mm.
college, university, they
Yeah, yeah,
always,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That
it gonna
at
be,
the display board. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it always gonna create this web of lies that leads to canceling other people. It's so
Mm.
simple.
So word of mouth and of course the bulletin board, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be that.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is: can cancel culture be seen as a form of collective justice or mob mentality? Which do you think it is? A collective
I
justice, mob mentality.
I don't believe it's gonna lead to justice,
Hmm.
because again, what we say just now, we keep discussing about lies. What if what if we just take this as a consideration? What if there's going to be open justice, right? Open justice where people are allowed to go to the court, and this guy is actually uh, other races, for example, what we call as a black people or something, and then there's the white people. But we already know that because of the the black people is actually being accused of committing a crime. Obviously, there's a lot of evidence, and the judge say yes, he is committing a crime. After the criminal goes out to the news, the media will report saying, yeah, the judge is racist, so we need to cancel this kind of judges, this kind of court. Court is no longer having kind of justice, and how this going to be working out if we lead this cancel culture to be released out of nowhere. So I don't believe that it's going to be bring any justice, because cancel culture, again, it is lies, and sometimes cancel culture can be good. When
Mm.
it can be good is, for example, dictatorship. They're spreading lies, obviously, right? So cancel culture is more to a sword with a double edge. So it can help
Mm.
you, but it more leaning to actually reduce that person's kind of existence, presence in the community itself. So yeah, it can be used as a good, but sometimes people right now are using it as a bad thing. So it's
Yeah,
counter
yeah.
to.
Yeah, it's interesting because nowadays, even though we have people have like all these online sources, they in chase of fame, they would
Yeah,
rather spread the more sensational news rather than the truth, right?
yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, that's why it is a double-edged sword because the sensational news will come out first before the truth come out. Like even though you said like it can be used for good purpose, the good purpose will only come out usually it's like days or weeks after the initial post, right? For example, like the Johnny Depp's case where
Mm,
um, he was being abused by his wife, but that was years after that, after he have suffered the consequences of being labeled as a wife abuser, a woman beater, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting, interesting. So uh, yeah, you have mentioned like there's also the good side of the cancel culture also lah. Okay, so how can individuals navigate or respond to cancel culture without silencing valid concerns or criticism? How do you, if you are, for example, you are an influencer yourself, how do
Mhm.
you navigate to this cancel culture? How do you get out of it? You know?
In such situation, what we always see from influencers, they're gonna say sorry, right?
Yeah.
Despite of they're speaking the truth, they're gonna say sorry because they want the numbers to come to them, the views, the subscribers. But if I am an influencer that going to speak the truth, just ignore every comments and take the constructive comments itself, because it's not all people are going to cancel you. Sometimes people are helping you, sometimes people are canceling you. The canceling you are most likely what we call as the internet trolls. They're just
Mm.
having fun saying that, oh, this guy is speaking not based on what I'm thinking right now. There's
Yeah.
no like consensus there. So they're just like, all right, this guy is not walking the same path as me. I'm just going to gather a mob to cancel this guy out. So it's not really kind of good behavior. But
Mm.
again, being cancelled does not mean that you are totally out of this world. It's not that community will not accept you, unless if you are speaking random stuff, like you know that thing is gonna be bad, but you just like take example of Jocelyn Chia, one of the
Mm. Recent
recent news.
example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she tried to make a joke, but she just said that uh, it was not a serious stuff because in America people are talking about 9/11, correct?
Yeah.
And obviously MH370 is also the same kind of
Yeah. The same
disaster.
level of impact, right? It's just taboo
Yeah,
among the Malaysian community.
yeah, and then Asian country are different from Europe's. The how they actually respond to the jokes. So most likely, if you see the number of cancel culture is more leaning to the European country. It's not more. It's not on Asian country because European is there are too many influencer. There are too many celebrities. That's why they try to have this thought. Oh, freedom of speech is to allow us to reduce this kind of numbers. They are misusing the such rights was given to them.
So you are going to only you mentioned that you're going to ignore the negative comments that are baseless from these trolls, and you are just going to like only take the constructive criticism, right? Is
Yeah,
there
and
any is there any other way how you think like maybe build back the the public relations with your followers, or something else that came to
yeah,
mind?
I kind of forget to tell you about this. Influencer, if they want to speak the truth, they should have divided themselves into two personas. One is the
Personas.
influencer personas, and one is what they wanted to tell the world about the truth. So if they want to tell the world about the truth itself and how they actually want to change kind of a view of what is happening with the current issues that are revolving around the world, they should voice it out on a very protective or anonymous, secure website or platform. So let's say that you want to be an influencer, right? You're an influencer for a stuff. For example, you're a gamer. So go to the path of gaming itself. No need to like put politics, discuss about other people. So if you want to uphold the justice or something, to you want to say that, oh, it's not right to be racist. It's not right to hate Asians. So voice it out on a platform that you should have been given the choice. No need to like spread in social media. You know that Twitter is already toxic. You know that
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram is also toxic in certain ways.
I
And
see.
I mean, this Reddit, sometimes Reddit can be true. So
I mean, like,
why you
yes,
want to?
that's like the appropriate comment lah for maybe
Yeah,
Reddit. Some is appropriate, but most of the time, not really.
yes, that's why people always say that do not mix something up in your work life. For example, you're an influencer, you already have your work life as influencer. Don't need to like be a busybody with something else. So unless you are really an influencer that talk about racism, talk about the this kind of culture, woke culture, something, uh,
Mm.
yeah, cancel culture. You should go to that point if you're
So,
ready to have the
like,
path.
stick to the genre you are
Stick
portraying,
to
right?
that. Yeah. Stick to what we
For
are.
example, if you are a commentary channel that talks about politics, yeah, sure, go ahead because that's what your crowd likes in the first place, right?
Yeah,
And of
and
course,
and
yeah,
and again, something about influencers when they talk about those kind of very sensitive issues, they always talk without facts and statistics. They
mm,
just say out of their mouth like, oh, this is not really a good thing, and then they start being cancelled. People cancelled when they see people are speaking out of nowhere. When you speak with
mm,
facts, statistic, there's no way that people can cancel you. You're
yeah.
speaking based on truth itself. So it's that's different. It's always going to be different.
So we have to say things that are actually backed by research, right? Rather than swayed by
Yes,
feelings. And
right.
maybe like some people just take a glance at comments from Twitter and then they
Yeah,
suddenly base on it as fact, even though
yeah.
it's
That's
not.
always going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
That's people. Yeah,
That's just pitiful, but that's that's basically the current climate in today's political and social environment, right?
yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I think that is all for the interview session. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Mr. Clarence, for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rayhaan.
And I will conclude this interview here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Your education level?
I'm just graduated bachelor degree in hotel management.
Hotel management. Hmm.
Yeah.
Are you currently working or are you still furthering your studies?
Currently, I am unemployed, but I'm furthering my studies on September.
September. I see. What's your marital status? Are you married or?
Unfortunately, I'm still single.
Oh, okay. Same, relatable. Okay. So moving on to the main crux of the questions.
Mhm.
First of all, I'm going to give you a statement which is immoral
Mhm.
celebrities and public figures should be cancelled. Cancel here refers to you stop promoting the person or you stop giving support to them. Do you agree with this statement or do you think otherwise?
Well, cancel is the opinion regarding cancel is maybe vary on the effectiveness and the ethical implication on such action. But me personally, I would say um, it's a must, but on a limited area. I mean, for certain purposes, it should be done.
I see. So it's like moderated cancellation,
It's like a control cancel
control
culture.
cancel.
It's much in a control situation.
Ah, okay. So how do you think does the cancel culture impact influencer or influencers' freedom of speech and expressions?
Mm, I think it does have an impact towards the to the speech and expression of by the influences, where they sometimes when they wanted to, they may have the fear to express their unpopular opinion or controversial opinion. It can lead to some self censorship to avoid backlash or being cancelled, which they feared to do so, to give out their opinion.
Mm,
It does sometimes, I would say, our current cancel culture is very make the influencer feel restrictive.
I see. So you rather gulp down these unpopular opinions or things that you think you might find not politically correct in fear of being judged by the masses.
Sorry, pardon, can you repeat that?
You gulp down all these unpopular opinions, or you think
Yeah.
maybe your opinion is politically incorrect in case it might
Mm-hmm.
offend your follower base or maybe just
Yep.
random viewers online. I
Well,
see.
me personally, I couldn't care much about it. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
people are entitled to their own opinion, but
Mm,
to some extent, they may have the restriction on telling things, because maybe the influences is their only job. There's a thing that are really take into account, that they have to think forward before that giving out opinion. I mean, me personally, I don't have anything to lose. I mean,
uh,
I don't
uh,
have anything to
yeah. Yeah.
to lose, so I can say whatever I want, but I wouldn't, because I don't want to create that kind of controversial things.
So like their income, their livelihood is all dependent on their follower base. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
further pushes the idea, don't say things that might be sensational or provoke your follower base, right?
it is. It is.
Okay, moving on. Is cancel culture an effective means of holding individual accountable for their action or opinions? What do you think about this?
I think the effectiveness of the cancel culture itself is the debatable. I mean,
Mm.
which can bring, while it can bring an problematic person, a problematic behavior. Wait, my sister, my brother is coming in.
It's okay.
Please, please, give me a minute. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. Right.
Okay.
I think while it can bring attention to a problematic behavior of the influences, it may also result in public shaming without allowing for growth, or educate the influencers, whether they say maybe they say maybe some of the words that he or she use in their opinion
Yeah.
might which kind of harsh, as we say, harsh
Mm.
truth to to believe it, to take it all.
Yeah.
Maybe the context is there. The context is there. Maybe the language and such. It's quite. It's not. How would we say? It's not.
Appropriate is
It's
like
not. Yeah,
suitable,
it's not very. How you call it?
polite. Is it
Yeah, yeah,
suitable?
very polite. Yeah, very
Yeah.
polite. So it can create a very controversial viewpoints, but still, we should give their time to growth, educate them, or maybe give them time to redeem themselves. I think it's a good. There's a pros and cons of the cancel culture actually. Well, we can see some of the influencers when they had got backlash from things that they do, they actually redeem themselves by being better and such. I think it's a good thing, to some extent. It's a good thing.
So they feel like for some actions they are held accountable. They cannot just step over the line because they fear
Yeah,
the backlash from their follower base. But at the same time, the follower base have this responsibility to not just simply make comments on pure hate, but they must make constructive criticism so that these
yeah,
influences can grow from it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Mm, I see.
So they
That's
can learn and be better.
So it's like it's not a cancel culture to uh demolish this influencer's persona, but rather
Yeah,
than to
maybe
help.
maybe they cancel culture shouldn't demolish like their whole persona, their whole personalities, their work ethics and such. Maybe they do one thing that they do bad. It doesn't mean that all the things that they do is it's all bad. We are
Yeah,
human. We are imperfect.
I see. So, uh, if we were to moderate it, maybe like these hate comments you put aside, and then you just focus on the constructive criticism. It's better for both
Yes.
sides. That's way. Okay. So what do you think are some of the potential negative consequences of the cancel culture?
Mm, well, in my opinion,
Yeah.
potential negative consequences of the cancer culture
Mm.
include the possibility or unjustified or disproportionate of backlash, lack to due process, the
Mm.
potential of mentality, and the suppression of diverse viewpoint and conversation. It means that sometimes they judge not based on this solely based on what that person said, not solely by the context of the things that he said actually.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People taking
Maybe,
things out of context, right? Like they
yeah,
just take piece of it.
people are actually doing that. We
Yeah,
can see
yeah,
people actually doing that in social media. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Maybe there's a whole 10 minutes of video, maybe podcast. So they take out only like 30 seconds of that podcast and create a controversial video out of it.
Mm.
Maybe they
Sometimes
say,
people,
"Oh, I hate people." Yeah, they just cut that "I hate people" and they
yeah,
post
yeah,
it everywhere. The whole context probably would say, "I hate people that are doing bad things."
mm,
They didn't say the full conversation of that.
yeah, yeah.
They only take it the first part of it and make it controversial. Make it controversial. It's very dangerous.
There's also like people that dig up old tweets to,
Yeah,
yeah,
people change. People change
hits
throughout the
people,
years.
right?
People
Yeah,
change throughout the years, and even both of us, we may do some things that we might be ashamed of in past
definitely,
years. Maybe
definitely.
yeah, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and we change to be a better person. That's the whole purpose of being a human. We always evolve to become a better human being. So when there's old things that you would like to shove it off, that's what we call a digital footprint. Sometimes we cannot delete it off um, from the earth.
Yeah,
Somehow
yeah,
somehow or some way they would find it. Uh,
yeah. Even though you delete it,
so
they'll
you
just,
just
yeah,
take it easy, I guess. Take it easy.
I see. Um, okay. So we mentioned like Twitter before. Do you think like
Mhm.
this cancel culture is only primarily available on social media platform, or is it available on other mediums as well?
Mm, since most of our medium of communication is social media itself, I think most of the time the cancel culture would happen in the social media, but we couldn't stop it from going out of the social media. Probably when you at work and maybe when you're working, you got some colleagues, or you got your colleagues and boss, and upper management and such. They may do things that you dislike, and somehow you avoid totally from talking to them, engaging with them, communicate with them. So that's, I would say, a type of cancel culture in a real world, like in a real life situation. We totally avoid that person.
Hmm. So it is in another form where you don't like you like unfollow them or something in real life, but you
Yeah.
just give avoidance, give the cold shoulder basically. I see.
Mhm.
So can cancel culture be seen as a form of collective justice, or is it just mere mob mentality? What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I think cancel culture can be seen as both, as a form of collective justice, as well as the manifestation of mob mentality. I think on the part of form of collective justice, where individuals are held accountable for their action, they should be accountable of their own action. That's our responsibility. I mean, you do things, you take account of it, you be responsible for things that you do. I think in the part of manifestation of mob mentality, where a group of mentality override individual critical thinking and empathy. It's a I would say it's a bully.
Is it what?
I would say it's a bully
Oh yeah, definitely.
where a group of people bash that certain person for they are without any empathy.
Yeah. Like sometimes I saw videos where people going on a protest or parade. Some of them are just joining for the sake of it. When they ask, "What are you protesting against? What are you parading for?" They don't even know.
They don't even know. They just join the bandwagon. It's for social media. It's for Instagram. It's for their
Yeah.
stories. It's for their Twitter and such.
And
It's
imagine that you
it's only
just
it's
insulting
solely for social
somebody
media.
and you don't even know the reason why.
Exactly.
So it's like it's only a collective justice, only with sufficient backing and evidence, but without all of those, you're just joining the mob or you're just joining the bad bandwagon, yeah?
Yeah.
I see. So there's always a give and take with this kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, so we've discussed it, the negative consequences. Do you think like there's some positive of it, of the cancel culture, other than educating the influencers themselves? Maybe to the
Mm,
audience or
okay. There's always a positive side of things where
mm,
I think it would raise an awareness about systemic issues, promoting accountability, creating opportunities to marginalized voices to be heard. When it cancel culture would actually make people think twice before they say things, or maybe you can say things that you want, but you cannot satisfy every other person. But
yeah,
if you can get hell of the majority of the people of the community, you have nothing to be scared of. let's
yeah,
say let's say you said something about maybe sexual education.
mm,
Some of maybe older generation wouldn't say yes to this, and maybe our generation, the Gen Z, the millennials, some of the millennials would say it's a good thing to do, to have sexual education actually. So
mm,
things like this is good. I mean,
yeah. It's already a
you see this
breakthrough, right?
as a good thing. It is,
Yeah,
but it is hard. It is hard for the whole community to actually to take it in, to actually implement that. So things like that, cancel culture. You have someone to back you up. Maybe the boomers would cancel you, would say things bad about you, would say bad things about you, would say maybe you say you sex crazy and such. But you just
mm,
wanted to point it out things in sexual education. You're
yeah,
not promoting sex, but you're teaching them how to do things. You know how to prevent STDs, how to prevent HIV. They are the things that they should learn. I mean, safe sex. We're not living in a country where there's only Muslim. We also have Indian. We also have Chinese. We have Buddhists. We
yeah,
have Hindus. So things like this would help community as a whole. So
mm.
it's and also it push to some extent, it push societal change and encourage discussion about important topics.
So like cancel culture, if you have to, if you manage to gather the majority, you can practice your freedom of speech to push for some really beneficial things such as sexual education, right? Like
Yes.
you mentioned, not even among the Muslims, like not all, maybe just Muslims in name, right? We still need
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I see. So to make this controversial statement, uh, is where that cancel culture also plays a role in. I see.
Yep, it makes you it makes you feel, it makes you it's not like you fear of the criticism, but you prepare things that you may get, maybe
Yeah.
backlash from
It creates this
people and such.
pity.
So
Yeah,
you could prepare a few things to support your statement. Maybe you would do some research beforehand. Instead of saying things blindly, you would do research first. So if people ask things, you can answer it promptly.
Mm.
So it's
So
easier to cater situation, to control the situation itself,
yeah.
because cancel culture makes someone's be cautious about things. Uh,
Yeah, I think like that's really an interesting insight. I have never heard. I've interviewed before, but I've never heard that kind
mhm.
of view before. Where cancel culture can be used like as a crowd control tool, right?
Mhm.
Because you cannot
Mhm.
just deliberately make statements online without preparing for the backlash. If you made a stupid
Mhm.
statement, you're going to pay for it. You're going to be held accountable for it. Wow,
Yes.
that's really. I think that's a bit mind opening for me tonight. Okay, so on to the last questions. How can individuals navigate or respond to cancel culture without silencing valid concerns or criticism? Like without you just
Mhm.
muting the comments. How do you navigate through this cancel culture?
Okay. Like I said just now,
Mm.
engage in open, close dialogue. Maybe do a discuss. Actively listen to different perspective. If you tweet something, read the replies. Read the replies. You don't have to reply like immediately. You just engage by reading it first. Try to think about it. Maybe you can educate themselves. I mean, all the things that you might find, this part is wrong. I'm not saying this. I'm saying
Mm,
that.
yeah. You've
You
done
can
your
provide
research, right?
your
Yeah.
yeah. If we have done our research, we can
Mm.
provide with sufficient answers. Maybe if you are really wrong, you say wrong things, just apologize. I mean, I'm sorry for saying things like yada yada yada, and then you say you don't have to gaslight people.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
say
Yeah. Yeah.
if you are wrong, just say you're wrong. I'm apologize for it. I would never do that again. I will do my research beforehand. Then maybe just delete the maybe things that
Wrong
you post.
photos.
Just
Yeah.
delete it altogether. Say sorry and delete it altogether. It may have some people, the Twitter people call it receipt, isn't it? I have the
Yeah.
receipt. A screenshot of
Oh my
there's a
God. Yes.
screenshot of
Yes.
the tweet
Definitely.
itself. I have the receipt. So that's why I call it digital footprint. It would never be gone. It would never like totally vanish from the face of the earth. Uh,
I
So
see.
maybe show if you see maybe show some genuine remorse when appropriate, when you're wrong. Maybe there's okay. For example, um, maybe you seen people influencers on YouTube. They make a apology video with crying and yada yada yada. It may
Endless.
it may seem
Endless. Yeah.
it may seems like fake, and you know it is fake, but they are trying so hard to how you call it, to say sorry,
Yeah.
to say
Apologize.
sorry, to
Yeah.
make it up for their mistake. They're trying so hard. So it's it somehow if people will believe him again or her. So it's time for them to seek opportunities for personal growth and learning.
I
So
see.
you know how it feels to be bashed, to be
Yeah.
cancelled.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do it again. It's a personal growth and learning.
Mm.
Maybe we as an audience can encourage constructive conversation
Yeah.
and promoting understanding to can help address concern while avoiding the culture of silence. Maybe maybe this can happen in our office or our workplace. Instead of just be silenced or avoiding that person altogether, maybe you can make a discussion. Um, maybe just ask them to hang out with you. Hey, John, come hang out with me. When you hang out with them, and you say that. Oh, did you know that things that you do it's not good? It's actually offended some people in the office. Oh, I didn't know that. John didn't know that he do things
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people don't like. So it's an opportunity for, like I said, it's an opportunity for personal growth and learning.
So it's like I've noticed two main points that you mentioned was first of all you must recognize whether these comments are just pure hate or something constructive. If it is something constructive, use it as a chance. You don't have to reply to it. You just like digest it and then use
Mhm.
it just to not repeat the same mistake. And the second one
Yes.
is owning up to your mistake, right? You apologize and you don't need all this. I think like from my own personal experience, I feel the apologies is most genuine when there are no sad music. It's just pure voice, because they know the gravity of the situation, right? So yeah, that's I mean like that's like the many people do the counterintuitive, like they tend to be defensive when people say about their past mistakes rather than just owning up to it. So for example, if you said N word when you were 15, of course, and then somebody picked up your receipt, why should you justify yourself? Of course you're going to just apologize, you were being dumb before, right? Yeah. Instead of trying to justify like I'm sorry you felt that way, or I'm sorry this was past or something like that, just say that you were being foolish in the past. I see.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Just own
think
up to your mistake. I'm sorry. It
yeah.
is me, but that's me. 5 years ago,
Hmm.
I'll be a better person. Trust me. I'm a better person than this. Assure them that you are a better person.
I think sometimes it's very hard because these influencers rarely have human connections, like human interactions. They have lost touch
Yeah,
with reality, right? Even something
yeah. The loss of touch with reality.
yeah, yeah. Especially the like the Kim K's family is just like I don't even know what that is at this point, right? Well, I think that is all for the interview. Thank you so much for your interesting insight,
Alright.
because especially on the positive aspect of cancel culture, I really haven't touched upon the idea that it might promote crowd control among the younger member of the community. Like I feel it, but I don't know how to put it into words, like the feeling of you being afraid of posting something that might spark a controversial argument, but you making research in order to back it up. I think that's what separates us from the previous generation, because we are with all
Yep.
this, we are just so tech savvy. We have all these sources that we can use to back up our findings. Yeah. I think that's really an interesting point of discussion on this one. Thank you so much for your insight, Mr.
Alright. No problem, Rayhaan.
That is all for me. Thank you. I hope you have a good night.
Uh, all right. Thank you, Rayhaan. Have a good day.
All right.
50, 56, but going
56.
to 57 in August.
Your current education level?
Okay, master
Master.
in the modern language. Yes,
So your current occupation?
I'm a lecturer in the university. Yes,
So are you married, single, or
I'm married.
married? I see. Okay. Now we'll move on to the main crux of the interview, which is our question. Okay, I'll give you a statement. Immoral celebrities should, immoral celebrities and public figures should be cancelled. Cancel here refers to you stop promoting the person or you stop giving support to them. Do you agree with the statement above that these public figures should be cancelled?
Mm, let me think. Can you give me more examples in what
Well,
situations you want to cancel it?
I think like the most famous example was in 2018, influencer
Mm,
named Logan Paul. He filmed a dead
mm,
body in the suicide forest in Japan, and he received
mm,
a huge media backlash from his immoral
mm,
acts. So, do you think
mm,
the celebrities that does this act should it be condoned or should they be cancelled?
should be
Should.
cancelled, I think. Yes.
Mm. Do you have any reason as to why you think they should be cancelled?
Uh, you mean like something that sometimes we touch on the very sensitive issues or
Mm.
about people's uh, privacies, for human rights, I think we shouldn't, do that.
So when they step over the line, they should be cancelled.
Yes, I think so because no permissions are asked before that. So I think this kind of courtesies we should have, and then societies needs this kind of awareness or realizations when we want to do something for our own benefits or our own purpose. So we should have that sensitivity. What if we are that victims, let's say, or the families of that victims?
Yeah, that's very insensitive, right? I mean, like that's one of the
Yes.
more extreme examples, lah, because there's also some other minor examples, but that is going to the extremes. Okay, moving on.
Mhm.
How does cancel culture impact the influencer or the influencers' freedom of speech and expression? How would you think it will cause them to act if they can be cancelled anytime?
Mm. Can you please repeat your question?
How does cancel culture impact the influencers' freedom of speech and expression?
I think freedom also has the limitations.
Limitation.
Yes. So this kind of this how you say cancel that what would call so it can make public be more sensitive. So will be more I can say is more
Cautious.
humane. Yeah,
Humane.
cautious, humane when we want to have some actions towards to some things like you want to publish something, you have to think about the consequences, people's feelings. So cannot just be I can say the words like selfish, because for your own purpose you just do anything and you like without thinking other people's feelings and so on. So yeah, I think it is a good impact. Yeah.
So it will cause them to be more careful when publishing statements moving forward, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it? Okay, the next question is cancel culture an effective means of holding individuals accountable for their actions and opinion? What do you think about this?
Again, please. Can you please repeat?
It's like does this culture makes the influencers
The line
be held
is not
responsible
good, so I
for
can't hear you clearly.
sorry. Does cancel culture cause the influencers to feel more responsible for their action and opinion?
I can't hear you, sorry.
Wait, I'll type it in the chat box.
Because the line is not good. Is
Yeah,
that
I feel my picture freezing for a bit. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Is cancel culture an effective means of holding individual accountable for their actions and opinions? What do you think? Is it effective or is it just mere portrayal of hate, something like that?
Is it effective?
Yeah. I mean, like if you suddenly, for example, you have 1 million followers on Instagram and then you are cancelled, people started to unfollow you, you will lose your income revenue, right? So is it
Yes.
just cancelling people like that make the person feel more accountable, or is it just like
Yes. I think so. I think so. Yes.
you think
I think so.
So because
effective. It is effective because it's a the impact is big. Yeah.
the impact is big.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have it like because it cut off the source of their income, or because it depletes their influence, or
I think both. Yes, both.
Okay. Okay, moving on. What are some potential negative consequences of cancel culture? What do you think will happen to the public or maybe the influencer when cancel culture is happening?
The negative one, you mean?
Yeah,
You
the
mean the
negative
negative
consequence. Yeah.
consequence? Yeah. It might make people like they don't report the truth sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
they are scared of the consequences. What action people will take. So it's something that they need to publish, but they will go back. So it is also negative.
So they don't want to voice out these unpopular opinions in case they
because
get
they want
cancelled.
to avoid the unpopular. Yes.
Yeah. I can see that. That's true. Do you think like it there are also some other like mental kind of negative consequences be it from the influencer side or for the audience? What do you think on that?
On the audience or the
The influencer side. Like what you feel when you get cancelled. What do you think about that?
if let's say I posted something and then I get cancelled.
Yeah.
So how do I feel, right?
Yeah.
I will feel that kind of punishment, maybe. It's like punishment and make me like lost my confidence in my career, and maybe it's like a bit like failures, that kind of feelings. Feel like failures. And I think these three are the most very clear, very, very obvious impact to that person.
So being cancelled causes emotional distress towards the influencers.
Yes, it will definitely cause the emotions.
Moving on to the next question. Do you think that cancel culture is only happening in social media platform, or is it available someplace else?
I think social media is the most common.
The most common
thing, the platform. Yeah. Other fields
because like offline is not as apparent as online, right? The cancellation, like you can give someone the cold shoulder, but not really cancelling them.
Yeah. But let's say in Japan, I just give you an example. People are so they don't want to make mistakes, because sometimes the mistake maybe it is not wrong legally, but they're just very careful because they don't want to lose their friendship. Maybe they what we call like even though that person's is not wrong, maybe have no evidence to prove that this person has made mistakes. But if things happen, they were judged by people. They call it civil judge, and make them that there's some that it will be affected their life, their social, the social life. So
Yeah.
that is the one what do you call the judgment from people also can make this person become more aware or be very careful, take precautions and so on before they want to do something or publish something, or want to have some actions. They
Yeah.
have to take the responsibility. Yes.
Oh, so for example, in some countries with high context culture, such as Japan, this can happen
Mm.
outside of social media platform also, but they tend to not
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
silent social
So
norms.
yes. Yes.
I see.
So the friends maybe leave him or her. So that make him like they cannot take this kind of reactions from people.
Mm,
So they'll be very careful to do something. They have to think twice. Is it okay if I do this? It can people accept? That is maybe in Asian country, especially. I
Asian
think.
countries. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting to know because I've heard different answers from the previous respondents as well.
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
moving on. Can cancel
mm.
culture be seen as a form of collective justice or is it mere mob mentality? What do you think
I
about this
think
one?
it's collective
Collective
justice.
justice.
I
Okay.
think it is collective justice. Yeah.
Uh, but what about when you said
Yes.
people are spreading fake news? No, you said like people are saying like
Mm,
politically correct
mm,
opinions in case they don't want to be cancelled, right?
mhm.
So
Yes.
like if somebody said something else, if somebody said
Mm,
fake news, would it still be a collective justice?
mm.
What do you think? Like you are being cancelled for something you didn't do because somebody spread it online.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's like, um, okay.
Uh-uh.
It's difficult to answer. Huh? Can you give me some examples so that
Okay.
I
For
can
example, people said
relate?
that I support
Mm,
the LGBT movement, even though, for
mm.
example, I'm a
You are
musician.
not. Mm,
Yeah, just
mm,
simple like that. And then
mm, mm.
people already started to follow me,
Spread.
unfollow me.
Mm.
Yeah, based on this baseless
Unfollow you.
evidence.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I
Oh,
started to lose
oh,
income
so.
because brand deals are all taking off.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean like there's insufficient evidence, but people still
mm,
chose to believe the fake news. Some,
mm.
not all.
I think this one go back. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still just a bit laggy.
Yes, yes. Insufficient evidence. Mm.
Insufficient
Feel
evidence.
like it, huh? Okay. Yeah. I get. Yeah. I understand. I get what you say. Okay. So in this kind of situations, I think we must have sufficient evidence
Must have
to prove
sufficient
that
evidence.
okay, this person is really yeah. Before we like
Mm.
cancel their social medias. If not, it is unfair. If anybody like say something or people just want to let's say um,
People just want to defame the other
uh,
person, right? It's like they just want to out of pure
yes,
hate.
defame other
Yeah,
person. So this person is like very helpless, right? In a
yeah.
situation like this, and then just cancel. So I think that is the part that the what do you call the
It is hard to
mm,
distinguish, right?
but it is very hard. Yes, yeah, it is very hard to distinguish. Mm,
I think in
I
short
was
you mentioned
mm,
something like The question was, is it collective justice or mob mentality? I think your answer was like, if it is done with sufficient research and
Sufficient
good
research or
evidence,
evidence.
it is collective justice. But if it is not, then it's just mere mob mentality, right? Because you just want to throw hate on the person. You just want them to feel.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
In short, okay. On to the final question. How can individuals navigate or respond to cancel culture without silencing valid concerns or criticism? For example, like you turn off your comments, you mute the comments. So it's like people who critique you, you cannot read them because you already silenced them. How do you respond to cancel culture aside from muting the comments? Like for example, the suicide forest example, right? After that you are being cancelled. How do you rise back again from the fall to your audience? Yeah. What do you do after you did something that is controversial like that?
Yeah. You have no chance to defend yourself, right? You mean,
Yeah. I mean, like if the extreme
right,
example,
Rayhaan?
no chance. Yeah.
Yeah, that means after your social media have been cancelled, then you have no chance to defend yourself, right? Because everything happened, and then but people say you don't know, right?
Yeah. But do you like
So what should that person?
do you like at least apologize, or like do you take the criticism?
If
Like that's like the common
it
way.
depends on how honest is that person.
Okay.
Uh, I think it is a very it is a very good lesson to a person who have been cancelled by social media. Let this person think uh, and uh, reflect themselves.
Reflect. For
Reflect.
self-reflection.
Yes, reflection. Have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? If I have not done wrong,
Yeah.
so I have to do something. Yeah. If yes, I have done something wrong, I realize my mistakes, then I must apologize, sincerely, and I think people can accept if you are sincere.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very good reflection. It is very, very negative when things happen like that. But if that person can use this platform or use this chance as a chance to make him or her grow in their life, I think it is a very, very valuable lesson. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. To summarize, you said that instead of silencing the comments, you can use this as a chance
You
to
have to
grow as a
be
person.
brave, stand up, go to the public again. Tell them, is this true or not true? Why people say like that? You have to be very honest to yourself first. Think, reflect, and talk to yourself, dialogue with yourself. What have I done wrong? If I have not done wrong, then I have to be brave to do something, to clarify with some proof and so on. If you have done wrong, apologize sincerely. I think the public can forgive you, and then you can go back to your previous, your popularity and so on.
Yeah, even though it takes time, right? For
Especially,
people to
it takes time, but it is okay. At least it is not some very bad experience. Bad experience. It's not something that irresponsible things that you have done, so on. At least show your responsibility shows that you are matured, you are sincere enough to face this problem, and you learn from this experience. I think that is the best thing. So it is not all negative. We can find a positive side to see this.
I think it's interesting how you
happening
said
or-
that we should also stand our ground if we are not in the wrong, right? Because cancel culture does not always mean that we are the ones giving the controversial statement.
Lagging,
Sometimes
cannot
people
hear.
put words in our mouth, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is not the last. That is not always the end of the world, or this is something that make my life like I cannot, to become a celebrity or what like some celebrity. Okay,
Yeah. I
look at the
think
bright side. We can still, we can improve. We can become a better person, a better user.
yeah, it's a bit shaky, but I think I get most of your points. I mean, like the Wi-Fi is a bit shaky, so like a bit cut off here and there. Sorry.
Okay.
But I get it. That you can
Yeah,
learn from the
it's
past mistakes, and if you're
stable.
not in the wrong, defend yourself. And of course, for the last one is to apologize if you really did was be in the wrong. So I guess that is all for me. Do you have any final words, Mrs. Chong?
I hope the whole society will improve themselves when they publish something to the public, or how they can be a very, very wise user as a social media user. So I hope that all this become a good trend in future. Will become will improve. All of us must improve ourselves.
So that everyone can be more responsible when just publishing opinions
Yes.
instead of just okay.
Yes, to make it very, very healthy and very positive effects when we use social media.
Okay, that is all for today's interview. Thank you so much for
Thank
participating.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, I hope we all can gain
But
an insight from this discussion.